Hi guys, this is Jerry from Ohio again. Hey, today I've got a 28 card vintage reveal for you from PSA. There's some good, some bad, and some ugly in here. Um, these are all 1971, 1961, and 1960 baseball. This was from a March 2024 vintage special. Yes, March 2024, and I'm just now getting to doing this reveal. I'm sorry. PSA received these April 1st, 2024. The order prep was logged April 10th. I'm assuming this is when the clock kind of starts for PSA. And then they shipped them out to me on July 31st. So April, May, June, July, a full 4 months when they received them to the time they shipped them out. So let's get started and take a look. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's get these bad guys out of the way first. Got 4 of these back out of the 28 cards. Got a 71 Woody Woodward mini sizer, 1961 Del Rice mini sizer, 1960 Leo Keeley miscut, and a 1961 high number R.C. Stevens miscut as well. So the mini sizers, I'm sure you guys are aware, a lot of times you can just resend those back in. Of course, these are commons. I expected the Del Rice to be an 8, I believe it was. So I may send that back in, but we'll see. All right, let's get started with the actual slabbed. Okay, so we've got a 71. So this is made up mainly of 71s, 61s, and 1960 baseball. 71 Earl Weaver. I thought this was an 8. They gave it a 6. Now, right now, they are being tough on a lot of these cards. So you'll see as we go through this, I'm off, it seems like, on these. I'm probably off my rocker half the time, but that's another story. So 1971 Jose Pena, this is a high number. I guesstimated this to be a 6 or 7. So I was actually in the ballpark on this one. Nice copy. All right, 1971 Brewers team, again, a high number. I've got this listed as an 8. Took it to my local card shop. He thought the same thing, and they've given me a 6 on it. That's a tough card. All right, 1971 Dick Williams. This is a 6 per PSA. I had it as a 7. Really good copy there of that. I had a batch of nice 71s come in and thought I would see what they would grade at PSA. So this is a 71 high number as well. John O'Donohue, 6 per PSA. I had it as a 6 or a 7. In an 8, this is a really tough card, but we'll take the 7 on that one. So just one note, I had sent 4 batches, and this is the way that I've kind of been doing it. Had about 100 cards in that vintage special, but I submitted them in 4 different batches, around 25 to 28 cards in each batch, giving them my ultimate strategy. I'm sure that they were very impressed with how I submitted those. But I like to submit them in smaller batches, just in case I get a really tough grader. It reduces the risk of the entire batch going down the tube. So, all right, let's get back. This is a 1961 Baltimore Orioles team card. I had this as an 8. They've got it as a 6, or I'm sorry, a 7. And I'm okay with that. I had a really nice batch of 1961s come through, and I've submitted several of them, and you'll see some of these that are pretty high grade, especially the high numbers were in really nice condition. 1961 Joe Adcock, they're showing this as a 5. I had this one as an 8 as well. Now I looked at it a little bit closer on the back. It's got a couple of just ever so slight ticks up on the corners, and I'm going to have to do a better job of that. But that's just warning for you all out there to check the backs of those cards. And I know there's 71s. They check the backs of those as well. Here's a 1961 Mantle MVP. I had this as a 4 or a 5, so they did me a favor. Thank you, PSA. All right. Tough card. All right. Next one is a Maris MVP. And this one I thought was an 8. They gave it a 7. All right. All right, next one is Aaron MVP. I guesstimated this to be a 6. They gave it a 7. So we're in the ballpark with them on the 61s, with the exception of the Adcock. All right. All right, 1961 Gene Oliver. I had this as a 7 or an 8, and they gave it the 7. Very, very sharp corners. Nice deep green on these, majority of them on the backs. Okay, 61 Eddie Casco. I had this as an 8, and they've got it as a 7. It's a high number. Played for the Reds. Deep green on the back of that. All right, the next one, I've got this. This is actually a resubmission. So I had submitted this a while back and got a 5 on it. And I broke it out. I said, there's no way that that's a 5. I said, it's at least a 7. They gave it an 8 this time. I don't think I did anything to it. You know, sometimes you can have wax on it, or you see a corner flipped up or something like that. I don't recall doing anything to it. But we'll take the 8. That's a very tough high number card as you complete a set on those. Deep green on that one. Take that one. All right, the next goes into the 61 All-Stars. I had this one as an 8 as well. Very sharp. A little bit off center, so maybe I could have settled for a 7, but a 6, I don't know. I just think they're super tough right now on any of these, but there's a couple coming that I think are really good ones too. So, all right, here's a 61 Bob Friend All-Star. And this one I had as an 8, and they gave it an 8. Beautiful. Several, and I've submitted probably 70 1961s from that batch, and they've given me 8s and 9s. Here's another 9. I guesstimated this to be a 9. It's beautiful. It's centered. Bob Friend, Pittsburgh Pirate. All right, that's the end of the 61s. 1960, got an Ernie Banks. I guesstimated this to be a 5. They gave it a 6. I was thinking the off-centered bottom to top. It's sharp. Tough card. Low number. All right, this next one is a tougher common is the reason that I graded this, and I thought it was a beautiful card. I thought it was an 8, and they agreed on that one. All right, next one is another tough common, Kurt Raden. I thought it was an 8 as well. I gave it a 7. All right, next card, another tough common. I thought was a 7. There's decent money in a 7. Got a 6. I know it's off center a little bit. Sometimes they'll work with you on it, and I just took the chance on that one. All right, how about a Frank Howard rookie? This one I guesstimated to be a 6. I gave it a 5. It's got the rough cut along the edge on the left side. Guy is an Ohio State Buckeye. All right, another one here. Guesstimated this one to be a 7. Got the 6 on this. Frank Howard was a tall guy. I think he was 6'6", 6'7". All right, I know some of you guys probably shaking your head. Why in the world would you grade some of these? Well, this one, I thought it was an 8 or a 9. Thought the centering was perfect on it. And again, it's one of those commons. If you can get it in a high enough grade, it's got some good value to it. Sometimes you swing, sometimes you miss, sometimes you hit a home run. All right, Jimmy Pearsall. I guesstimated this to be an 8 or 9 as well. So I'm off on almost every one of these, either high or low. So, all right, that will do it for this batch. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you don't mind, subscribe. I'll have more of these. One of the new things that I would like to do is interview some of the shop owners in the tri-state area, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, maybe Michigan, as I go shopping in some of these places, to give you guys an idea of some of the other shops that you might be able to go to if you're in the Midwest. All right, thank you so much. If any interest in any of these cards, let me know. I'll put my email address on for you. Thanks for watching.